Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video, man. It's day 12 of Trusting God's Plan and the Waiting. I'm so glad that you have made it this far. Thank you for coming. If you found this channel through Mastering the Man, please do me a quick favor and join my new channel, Mastering the Faith, where I will continue to post content about faith and mindset as I continue to allow God to push me and push us to who we want to be in his image. I'm glad to have you here for day 12. It's been a great journey so far, just learning about Joseph's story and the things that he's been having to trust and do in his time in the wait. And I'm curious to know what you're doing in your time in the wait. But let's get straight into it today. We have, again, day 12, soul wounds. There's an old phrase, don't judge a book by its cover. If you saw Joseph's book at this point, it would look like a regal, hardback, leather-bound book with a beautiful gold leaf inscribed on it. But if you cracked it open, the pages will be ripped up, torn, dirty, and smudged. What clues us into this? Let's take a look at Joseph's sons and what he names them. Both boys were born to him and his wife Asenath during the years of plentiful harvest. Joseph was second in command with the most powerful nation in the world. Things were going great. So why do you think Joseph named his firstborn Manasseh, a name which means to forget? Listen to what Joseph says after he names his son. It is because God has made me forget all the trouble in all my father's household. I'm thinking, if you have forgiven those mean brothers of yours, then you wouldn't be naming your son to forget. Every time you call out his name, you're literally saying to forget. Kinda seems like a big reminder to me. Joseph does it again with the birth of his second son, Ephraim. He says, it is because God has made me fruitful in the land of my suffering. Again, if he's free of his hurts, then he could say, because God had made me fruitful in the land. Period. Done. Finito. No need to add the in the land of my suffering. Joseph shows us he still has some very deep and unhealed soul wounds, which he's never truly given over to God. He's buried these bitter roots deep down in his heart, only to hide behind a facade of a successful life. But those soul wounds, when left untreated, were infecting him, even if he didn't know it. I recently heard of a lady who had tooth infection she didn't know about because her tooth never hurt. One day, the infection seeped into her bloodstream and caused her to have a heart attack. Thankfully, she survived, but what a shock and what an undetected infection wreaked major havoc later on her life. While you are waiting, you have a great opportunity to begin allowing God to help you dig out those hidden hurts and soul wounds that could be keeping you from his best. They may secretly be sabotaging the very thing you're hoping for: healing, a child, a job, a spouse, and more. It takes a very courageous person to ask God to shine a light on the wounds and do the hard work to receive the ultimate healing you need. Forgiveness is more than a second chance. It's an opportunity to love again. And today's questions, that's it for today, but today's questions are: who has hurt you in the past you just can't seem to forgive? Can you take time to ask God to show you the wounds in your life that need forgiveness? Then again, to take steps towards reconciliation and forgiveness? And do you need help with the process of forgiving? Please go to our website to find free resources. Okay, so this is a unique one because I have been in that moment of serious weight where I had to deal with some of the things that I just really hadn't let go. You know, I spoke about this freely, but just growing up without my dad around was something that I used to use for a fuel source, and just used to use that hatred and that hurt to fuel me into the person that I wanted to be ultimately. And that was a person that I just couldn't seem to forgive. I could never really let it go until I did. And that's when I began to really operate in who I truly was, because I wasn't letting something just hold me back. It's harder to hate and to hurt than it is to let go. Not saying that it's out of mind, out of sight, or you never think about it. But when you're forcing yourself to not let it go and forcing yourself to remain bound by it, it's taking a lot of energy that you could be using to propel yourself forward. So it's really important for us to try to take a step back and let go, and let go of that pain that we've been experiencing through our lives. Can you take time to ask God to show you the wounds in your life that need forgiveness? Then begin to take steps towards reconciliation and forgiveness. And yeah, it's just as simple as that. You know, ask God, hey guys, resurface the things that I'm dealing with, resurface the things that I need healing from. But not only just ask God to do that, but like I said, take the necessary steps. Maybe that's going to therapy. Maybe that's getting some type of counseling work done, or it's finding somebody to just talk to professionally, so that they can help you resurface these things. You know, God has put it into some people's professions where they can help you bring things to the light in a way that you understand it and can put an action plan behind to reconciling and healing from it. So I'm a big proponent of therapy. I myself have been to therapy and continue to go to therapy throughout different periods of my life. So if you're interested, check out BetterHelp. That's a good brand that I think you can check out, and I will try to get you guys a link to put in the description. But if I don't, just Google BetterHelp. It's awesome. Do you need help with the process of forgiving? I do not need help with the process of forgiving personally, but it's something that I've learned and I've taken the time to study and develop. If you need help with the process of forgiving, you really have to understand and do the internal work of what needs to be forgiven and why. They said they offer free resources, but there are also free resources online that you can just Google and find out. So it's definitely something that's worth doing. Like I said, you're holding yourself back from becoming who you truly are because you're constantly forcing yourself, just like Joseph did. He forced himself to remember the things that he suffered. He forced himself to remember the troubles that he went through in his father's household by naming his kids. It was a constant reminder. Even though he felt like he might have been free of those, that constant reminder is what reminded him to stay angry and stay mad at it. Genesis 41 verse 50 says, during this time before the first in the famine years, 2 sons were born of Joseph and his wife Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, the priest of On. Joseph named his oldest son Manasseh, for he said, God has made me forget all the troubles in every one of my father's family. Joseph named his second son Ephraim, for he said, God has made me fruitful in the land of my grief. Psalms 139 verse 23 says, search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you and lead me along the path of everlasting life. And that's how you really get there, man. You have to let go so that God can really do the work in you. And as you guys know, it's time for me to get into the group chat. Make sure you guys hit the link in the description to join the group chat. Like I said, it's never too late. We would love to have you. We would love your insight. And I will see you in day 13. Keep mastering. God bless. Let's go.